the majority of women in the United States, maternity leave is unpaid, which is why it's critical to understand all of the policies in place on the federal, state, and company level so that you can create a leave plan that's best for yourself and your family. In this video, we will break down maternity leave. We will walk through some of the policies in place on the federal level, some on the state level, and some of the company policies that you want to watch out for and look out for so you can take advantage of all of these benefits. Throughout the video, I may use the words maternity and paternity interchangeably. This is just meant to cover the fact that providing support for new mothers, new fathers, and new parents would go a long way to ensuring that family starts off with a stronger bond. Starting a family should be an exciting time, yet many parents are stressed out because they would have to take leave, and most of the time that leave is unpaid. Most of the time, leave can jeopardize the protection of their job, and most of the time, leave may not provide the other benefits that being a full-time employee has. First, just a disclaimer that I am not an employment lawyer, nor do I work in HR. I had my child a little bit later in life at the age of 36 after I was in the corporate world, so my experience is a little bit different. There's also constantly new policies in place to help with more benefits, so you'll need to review your personal situation, review what state you live in so that you can maximize these benefits. Thanks so much for joining me today. My name is Catherine Agupjan, and here at Sisters for Financial Independence, we help future moms and current moms save money, invest, and do more with the money they have. Let's first start with a fact. The United States is the only wealthy country that does not offer universal paid parental leave. This means that if you are a woman about to birth a child, if you are about to have a child through adoption or foster care, you need to figure out how to financially support yourself and your family during the time when you need to take care of the newest member of your family. Some parents have to make the tough decision to go back to work sooner than they'd like to ensure income continues to flow for the family. In many cases, you yourself will have to piece together and coordinate together several pieces of benefits and policies to come up with your own maternity leave plan that works best for you and your family. Because there are many factors in place, I encourage you to start this process, start understanding what maternity leave will entail for you early on in your pregnancy or in your adoption process or in your foster care process. I also encourage, if you've been through this process, please leave comments in the description, share your experience so that others may learn from it. Let's start on the federal level. On the federal level, you have what's called FMLA, which is the Family Medical Leave Act of 1993. And this law, it's a labor law, it requires covered employers to provide covered employees with job-protected, unpaid leave for qualified medical and family reasons. The law allows you to take 12 weeks of unpaid leave in any 12-month period. For FMLA, you can use it for the following: time off for the arrival of a new child in the family, whether by birth, adoption, or foster care, the care of a family member with a serious health condition, time off for your own serious health condition that prevents you from doing essential job duties, time off for the care of a family member injured in military service, and time off for the preparation for yourself or a family member about to be deployed into military service. Let's break down FMLA a bit further. The first thing to know about FMLA is job protection. So under FMLA, your employer must allow you to return to the same position, same benefits, same salary, and seniority after your 12-week unpaid leave. However, it is not total job protection, and I will cover that a little bit later in this video. The second thing to note about FMLA is medical coverage. While you are on leave, you are considered an active employee. So if your employer has been providing you health insurance and paying the premiums, they must continue to do so while you are on leave. And while you don't get paid, if you have to pay half of the premium, you need to make arrangements to figure out how you will pay for the premiums for your medical coverage. Your employer is allowed to ask for reimbursement of premiums when you come back to work. The last thing that I'll emphasize with FMLA is unpaid. So for the 12 weeks you're at home caring for a loved one, it is time that is unpaid, so no income is coming in. Another thing to note about FMLA is it's only for covered employers and covered employees. So it's necessary for you to make sure you meet eligibility or know what the requirements are so that you can start meeting those requirements for FMLA. So in order to have job protection under FMLA, you must work for a covered employer. And a covered employer must meet the following criteria. The employer must have at least 50 or more employees. Those 50 plus employees must have worked a period of 20 or more calendar work weeks in the current or preceding year. FMLA will apply to public schools, state departments, municipalities, regardless of the size. Sadly, if you work for a smaller employer, FMLA will not be available for you. And there's also a special case for contractors or people with joint employers. The second requirement under FMLA is that you must be a covered employee. And in order to be a covered employee, you must have worked at least 12 months with the covered employer for the past 7 years. You must have also worked 1,250 hours in the 12 months before your leave begins. So understanding these requirements can help you plan ahead. It can help you decide if you should take on a new job or if you should continue with your current employer so you have FMLA coverage and can take advantage of that job protection. A few more caveats when it comes to the FMLA. One, FMLA only covers one person in a couple per company. If you and your partner work at the same company, you're entitled to a total of 12 weeks combined, not 12 weeks each of leave. Your company may require you to use up all of your vacation days, sick time, and personal days before you can use the unpaid FMLA time. You will need to make sure you give notice and at least try to give your employer 30 days of notice and let them know you're planning to take FMLA guaranteed time off. I will caveat that some managers may not understand FMLA process and laws, so make sure HR is involved the minute you want to take FMLA leave. Your leave may impact future promotions and vacation time. Your company is not required to allow you to accrue vacation time while you're on leave or count that time as length of service, which can affect benefits that use that time clock, such as vesting for your 401k, your stock options, or other benefits. Another caveat is that you can't contribute to your existing benefits. So this means you can't contribute to your 401k plan as well as your flexible spending accounts because you are not getting a paycheck during your unpaid leave. Now, job protection is the hallmark of FMLA, but it's still possible to be laid off while on FMLA. If there is a layoff across department, it's possible to not have a job when you do come back from leave. Your employer just has to prove that you would have been laid off even if you were not on FMLA. So, as soon as you know you will need to take time off to care for yourself or a loved one, make sure you let your HR know, make sure you let your manager know so that you can begin preparation. You can understand if you need additional requirements to meet the covered employee eligibility for FMLA. If this video has been helpful so far, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who is about to embark on this journey. Understanding what the FMLA requirements are can help them plan ahead. So now that you know what's available on the federal level, it's now time to look at the state level. And there might be policies in place that will provide you some paid options. Remember, FMLA is on the federal level, job protection, medical coverage, but is unpaid leave, so no income during that time frame. Currently, there are 9 states and the District of Columbia that offer some kind of paid family leave. The policies in each state do vary greatly, so I encourage you to spend some time understanding what those policies are if you live in one of these states that offers paid family leave. The states that offer paid family leave is California, Connecticut, Hawaii, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Puerto Rico, Rhode Island, Washington, and Washington, D.C., and now Oregon and Colorado will begin similar programs in 2023. There's some verbiage difference when it comes to these plans. Most are termed paid family and medical leave, and it's split into 2 key areas. The first area is paid family leave, and this allows workers to take time off to care for ill family members or a new child. It's also known as family caregiver or family leave insurance. The second part to this is paid medical leave, and this is for a worker who has to take time off for their own illness or serious health condition, and this will count towards temporary disability or short-term disability. In most cases, these paid family and medical leave policies will provide a weekly benefit payment that's a percentage of your usual income during leave. There's some calculators on the respective state websites so you can calculate and plan ahead financially for yours. In a lot of these cases, you do have to pay into the program to get the benefit. What you'll now see in your paycheck if you live in one of these states is a line item where they are deducting a portion of your paycheck to fund this paid family and leave acts. For those that will birth a child, you will take advantage of the paid medical leave for your own healing. That will count for the first 6 or 8 weeks, depending on how you've delivered your baby. After the baby is born, the caring of the newborn will count towards paid family leave. So you'll be using both parts of the paid family and medical leave. For those adopting or fostering a child, you will use the paid family leave insurance portion of these policies. It's also important to remember that there is a time period during your pregnancy, from when you find out you're pregnant to before the baby is born, where you do need to take time off for your tests, your visits, just to make sure that you are healthy enough to carry this child. And unfortunately, all the time you need to go to the doctor to get those tests does not count towards leave. And in that case, you would need to use up some of your sick days, PTOs, vacation days, to get all of those testing done. Keep in mind too that kids do get sick, so after you've used up your leave, it's possible you may need some additional time off to care for your newborn, care for someone in your family who gets sick, and unfortunately that will not count towards your leave, and you won't be able to use any type of FMLA or state leave policies in that case. I'd love to know if you are from any of these states and if you've used any of the paid family and medical policies in your state. How was your experience? What would you say to someone who is about to embark on this journey? What can you provide them so that you can share your experience and ensure a smoother process for the next person? The next area you are going to dive deep into is the company policy. So once you know the federal, state benefits are available to you, now it's time to open up that employee handbook, look to see what's available as far as maternity leave or short-term disability for your needs. Most companies may provide short-term disability, and you will need to file a claim either with your company or with the insurer that your company has hired for short-term disability. And short-term disability will cover you for that paid medical portion. So if you are birthing a child, you'll have 6 or 8 weeks of paid short-term disability that you can tap into, so you can get paid during that period of time. Company policies differ across the board when it comes to maternity leave. There's some companies that are very generous where they will cover you for a few weeks with your full 100% paycheck. Some will cover a percentage of that. So you need to know what that is so you can plan ahead. It's also important that you and your partner review both of your company policies if you work for different companies so you can take advantage of those benefits. If you are also interviewing for a new position, ask what those benefits are so that you can compare those benefits with other companies or other prospects that you might have. Some companies may not offer paid family leave and will require that you use up all available PTO, vacation days, and sick days while on FMLA. This will cover you in terms of income during that time, but it does pose a risk that if you need to take time off at some point in the future, you don't have time for that. So reviewing those policies, understanding what they are, and working to find the middle ground for yourself will help you create a plan that works best for you and your family. As soon as you are ready, let HR know about your plans and what kind of support you need. Make sure they know the federal, state, and company policies so that they can help you create the plan that is best for you. As you begin this process, make sure to document everything for a few reasons. One, you just want to make sure that you're doing all the right steps so that submissions for FMLA is proper. You also want to make sure you have documentation so that when you do need to submit for state benefits, you have all that in place. And of course, if you need to submit for short-term disability, you have that as well. So now that you know all of these policies and benefits on the different levels, it's time to piece it together, or it's time to figure out how to coordinate these benefits so you can maximize them. Here is an example of what that can look like. It might be helpful for you to create a similar schedule so you know where things are coming from and how you can take advantage of it. Here is a coordination of benefits for 14 weeks. So 14 weeks at the top, our first is FMLA, and FMLA covers you for the 12 weeks of unpaid leave. During that time, your employer requires that you exhaust PTO. So here we are with PTO. You will receive a paycheck, and that is through the exhaustion of your paid time off. During that time, you can also file for short-term disability through your company's insurer for short-term disability, and you can also file for the state paid medical leave for short-term disability, and you will have funds from those. In this case, it's 6 weeks, and then the company's parental leave kicks off, and during this time, your company will pay your 100% of your paycheck. If you look to the bottom, here's some numbers that will show you what this looks like. So again, 14 weeks, FMLA, during that time, you don't get any money. It's zero, it's unpaid leave, but you can exhaust your PTO, so you have this amount weekly. You can also file for your short-term disability as well as your disability on the state level. Once this is exhausted at the 6-week mark, then your company's parental leave kicks in and you receive your 100% of your weekly paycheck up until the 14th week. So understanding and creating a schedule like this for you can help you figure out what kind of income is coming in, how much, and so you can plan accordingly. I hope this video has been helpful. If you want similar money content like this, consider subscribing to Sisters for Fi, where we share money lessons and money content to help future moms and current moms save more money, invest more, and build a life of impact for today and tomorrow. I also want to encourage you to pick up this book, The Working Mom's Handbook. It can be a great companion as you navigate this journey of motherhood, of being a working mom. I also encourage you to pick up this other book called Pay Up. It can help you understand the feelings you're feeling when it comes to being a working mom. I will leave links to these books in the description. So, one of the big challenges when it comes to going on maternity leave is that when you're on maternity leave, you lose out on income. You lose out on the opportunity to save and invest that income. And you also lose out on the accrual of Social Security benefits, which will benefit you down the line. So I would encourage you to plan ahead and save for the sake of saving so you have some funds now in case you do need to take time off to care for the newest member of your family. I also want you to check out this video about spousal IRA should you end up becoming a stay-at-home parent. Again, without income, it's hard to save for retirement, but the spousal IRA is one way you can continue to invest for your retirement and ensure you have the funds in place for your future. So thanks for tuning in. I will see you next week for the next video.